Okay, you ready? Have some highlighters? Here we go, guys. 65, yeah. Fuel economy / operating costs. I bunch it all in here. This is gonna take care of both. You ready? 65. Keep your finger on 65. But I'm just quickly going to talk about operating costs because there's no math here. Okay, so we just have to know a few of these examples. So this is on 68. So it's not that much further, but I'll first do operating costs, then we'll do fuel economy. What are operating costs? Expenses that are part of owning a vehicle. Okay, that's what it is. It has to do with maintenance. It has to do with just the day-to-day expenses that accompany owning a car. So here are some examples that you could use, but not all of them, right? But you can use whatever. But you can say paying for brake inspections. Okay. So every once in a while, every 10,000 kilometers or every oil change, you should be looking at your brakes. Anybody know why? Because I need to stop, right? I don't know if you know too much about brakes, but there's a disc and there's two shoes. They call them brake pads. Sorry, brake pads. As you press the brake, they literally press against the disc. Okay? And those pads, they wear out over time. Every time you brake, they wear out a little bit. So as you wear them out, when you drive around, you hear a screeching sound. Like it's just as you're driving, it's just like annoying a sound. That's actually a safety mechanism. There's like a piece of metal that if you reach a low level of brake pad, it's gonna let you know you need to change your brakes. You replaced them before? Okay, so if you need your brakes changed, Jamule is your go-to. No? Okay. Anyways, so make sure you do that. Pay attention, okay? Oil change every 5,000 or 3 months. I just do it every 3 months, to be honest. Oil isn't that expensive. I do it myself. I guess if you take it to a shop, then it's more. I would just do every 3 months. Tire rotation. Anybody know what tire rotation is? Spin your tires, right? That's what you're thinking. Well, think of your tires. This is the rear. This is the front. What I always do every year, once a year, I take this one, put it back here. I take this one, put it back there. And I bring these ones to the front. Every shop has a different pattern, but you don't want your tires to always stay in the front. If you have a front wheel drive car, these tires are going to wear out. In the winter, when you spin a lot and all of these things, it actually wears out faster. If you wear these out sooner, you're going to have to buy new tires before the rear. It's expensive. But if you keep rotating them, they wear out evenly, so you don't have to pay for new tires, right, as soon as you would if you just kept them that way. So that's tire rotation, okay? Fuel filter replacement, oil filter replacement, coolant flush, wheel alignment. That's when they make sure that these tires in the front are actually pointing, they're true pointing to the front. You don't have something like this where one tire is crooked like this and the other one is straight. This is also going to cause uneven wear on your tires, and it's actually dangerous, right? So that's alignment. Rust proofing. I would strongly recommend you get your car's rust, like they spray like it's almost like a oily substance all over your frame, inside all the little holes, to prevent it from rusting, okay? Wiper replacement. So you should have at least 3 of these on your study sheet. Operating costs, boom, just put one of these down there if you draw a blank. Oftentimes the province says, other than fuel, what is your operating cost? Because you want to say gas, right? Gas for the car. They will often like rule out the obvious ones and kind of force you to use something that isn't necessarily something you remember. So pick 2 or 3 from here and you're good to go. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say here. Back to fuel economy. 65. What's our time? Okay. I'm going to go straight to the math, and I will talk about the little nuances later on. This is, I know you're tired. This is the formula that is on your formula sheet. So you do not have to add this to your study sheet, okay? It's on the formula sheet. It's right here. Fuel economy, it looks like this, okay? So it's a little different than what we have. So I'm going to cross this one out because they made slight changes here. Just do that. Go ahead. It's this because some students were mixing it up. So it's liters over 100 kilometers is equal to fuel used over distance driven. I know it's pretty bad, is it? I apologize. So liters over 100 kilometers is equal to fuel used over distance driven. This is our new formula, okay? So I have to update my booklet here. We'll do one example, 1 or 2 before we go, okay? I promise there'll be no homework other than just showing up tomorrow. That's your homework. Okay, over here. A car is driven 280.2 kilometers and uses this much liters of gas. Determine the fuel economy of the car. Okay, so I'm going to use this. Is equal to fuel used, I'm going to write it out nicer here, over distance driven. I think I'm going to ask you tomorrow to add this to your study sheet because I'm going to make a little note here that is not on the formula sheet. But anyways, it doesn't take up that much space. So what do we know here, folks? Fuel used, we know, right? It says 26.78 liters. Distance driven, 280.2. Okay, we know this, we know this. We don't know what the liters are per 100 kilometers. We want to find out what L is. Okay, what does this remind you of? Cross multiply and divide, right? Yeah. So this is your variable. So you cross multiply and then you divide. Cross multiply and divide. So L is going to be 100 times 26.78 divided by 280.2. Okay, so L there it is, 9.5, what do we round that to? That's a 6, right? Liters. And here's where you need to be careful. This is how many liters we need to drive 100 kilometers. You've just determined that. So here it is. The fuel economy is 9.56 liters for every 100 kilometers this car is driving. And this is a standard way of answering fuel economy, right? Standard answer. Oops, the S is missing. Standard answer. So we're going to deal with that. One more. How much fuel would you need to drive 1,500 kilometers? How much fuel would you need to travel? This is where you use, remember this formula? They're asking, this question is asking how many liters, right? How much fuel do you need to travel 1,500 kilometers? And we know that this is 9.56. So sorry, I'm going to change this. L. We already determined what that is. That's 9.56 liters. So you use this information, essentially, you plug it in there, and now they can ask you for this distance, how much fuel do you need? So fuel is going to be what? 1,500 times this divided by that, okay? 1,500 times 9.56 divided by 100. So this is not asking for the fuel economy. This is asking for actually how much fuel do you need to travel a certain distance. So we multiply and divide, and we get 143, yeah. Required. So you can kind of figure out, oh, I need this many liters to go to Calgary, right? So you can figure out how much it's going to cost you approximately. Thank you guys. Come back tomorrow. We'll finish this.